Our guest this morning was a second-generation domestic helper in Hong Kong who broke the cycle through her photography. Now she uses her art to tell the less visible stories of migrant workers and labor issues. Xyza Cruz Bacani was a fellow of the Magnum Foundation Photography, whose work is in the permanent collections of several museums globally, including the city of New York and Abu Dhabi. She now joins us live via Zoom from New York. It's a beautiful day, Xyza. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and this evening over there.
Hi, it's a beautiful night in New York City. Very cold.
Yeah, very. Well, Xyza, your pictures are so unique and so inspiring. Can you tell us where did you get the inspiration to take pictures of OFWs? It's such a unique niche.
Well, it's because I am a migrant worker myself. So I started by taking photographs of Hong Kong during my free time. And actually, I started because of my mother. She never really went out for a day off. So I just have to go out and show it to her. So in some ways, I became my mother's eye, and it was just for fun, really. It's a way of expressing myself. I was really young back then, so that's all how it started.
So you started photography in 2015, right, Xyza? And you have championed overseas Filipino workers. Do you think there has been progress in the way migrant workers are treated now?
Actually, way before 2015, actually, if I'm not mistaken, Xyza?
Yeah, I started in 2009, and then
2009, okay.
Yeah, my name just came out in 2014, actually. But, there's been progress, though challenges remain when it comes to migration. I mean, one of the significant development is the establishment of the Department of Migrant Workers, because it consolidates government efforts to support and protect OFWs. And one thing that I noticed is there's a shift in public perception. More people recognize the value of migrant workers, and platforms like your platform now exist to amplify our stories. I think there's also this evolving language used to describe the migrant experience, moving away from victimization and towards more into a nuanced and empowering narrative.
Yeah. Xyza, there's so many ways to present the migrant story for Filipinos. There's just so many ways you can go about it. You can romanticize it, but you don't necessarily do that. You go out there and show it for what it is, by the same time telling a story that not a lot of people really experience by their activities, their expressions. We've seen some of the fun, almost festive environments in areas that are not really festive. Could you tell us a bit more about the storytelling aspect of your work? Because this is a lens we're not used to seeing, at least back here at home.
Well, striking a balance in storytelling is important. It's crucial to highlight the hardships that migrant workers endure, but we must also celebrate the triumphs and the impact they create, because it makes them more relatable. Recognizing their agency is essential, because they're not just passive subjects of struggle, but active participants in shaping their destinies. I mean, I know that story myself because I've been through it. The journey of creation can be really painful. Yet it also offers, opportunities for social and economic mobility, which we need to acknowledge.
And Xyza, I've noticed, so part of your storytelling, most, I think, or all of your photos are in black and white. I just want to hear from you personally why you chose black and white.
Well, I say this as a joke, but it's more like vibes lang. But
For the aesthetic.
But to be honest, it's because I like focusing on the emotional aspect of the photo, but I do photograph in color, and I also paint in color. So I think when it comes to my documentary work, personal works, I really love spotlighting the emotional aspect of the frame to take away all the other noises, Yeah,
I love that. And, the thing with migrant Filipinos is that first of all, they're all over the world. I love going around Dubai, and then it feels like I'm in Green Hills minsan. Because of the amount of Filipinos in certain malls and all of that, or in certain communal places. But then one of the things that I feel personally, just talking to migrant workers or families who have moved overseas, is that they face some people forgetting how Filipino they are here at home. They look at them as almost a separate class, a separate identity. Like kung OFW ka, maybe a bit less Filipino because all the time you spend overseas. Is that something that you want to try and bridge when you bringing them back home with your photos as well?
Yes, because one thing that we bring wherever we go is our Filipino-ness. Like the idea that, our identity as Filipinos, the idea of kapwa. We do that everywhere. Like as you mentioned, like wherever you go, if there's a Filipino, they're gonna smile at you, laugh with you, and offer you food. The offering of food is very Filipino. So I really want to encourage people not to see them as a separate class and instead embrace their achievements, embrace their sacrifices, and see them as not a bagong bayani, but see them as our fellows, our kapwa.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Xyza, you yourself, you were a domestic helper in Hong Kong. Can you take us to that moment when you realized that you wanted to pursue photography?
Well, I took care of 6 children in Hong Kong, and the eldest, he's now 26, he keeps telling people that my story is 1 in a million. And it's quite true in some ways because, art has always been my passion since I was young, since I was still growing up in the Philippines. But when you're in survival mode, you cannot create. Art needs stability. And during the time that I was in the Philippines and my mom wasn't there to take care of me, even though I want to create, I want to draw, I want to paint, I can't do that because I was busy becoming a mother to my own siblings. So when I went to Hong Kong and I finally got a job, I finally got a salary, I was able to embrace that artistic side of me. And because photography is very accessible compared to painting or other forms of mediums, that's when I started taking photos. So that's when I realized that, you know what? I could be this person.
Right, yes.
And you have a book now as well, We Are Like Air. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Oh, yeah. So We Are Like Air is my first book. It's a very personal and a universal story of love, family, and sacrifices. We are like air because migrant workers are like air. We are important. We are a necessity for a society to survive. But we are often unseen. You know what I mean? Like, just like air. Without air, we suffocate. And that's why the metaphor of air and migrants. And it's been, it resonated with a lot of people, and now it's on its 3rd edition. It's centered towards my mom's story and 8 chapters of different stories weaved together from Hong Kong.
Yeah, and Xyza, congrats, by the way, on obtaining a Magnum Foundation Human Rights Scholarship over there in New York and an MA in Art Politics, correct? How has this changed your life, and how is New York?
Aside from the horrible weather, too long, life is grand. I am very fortunate that when you move and, migrate, you have to start from zero. But when I moved to New York, I didn't really start from zero because I already have shows, solo shows, and my works have been collected by museums. And also, my favorite one was when they showed my work at JFK with my name on it. I felt like it was like a full circle. Like I arrived in this airport as an insecure young Filipino photographer. And then 10 years after, my works are being shown in that airport. Wow. So that's my favorite part. Yeah.
Wow, I love it. It's a full circle moment.
Yeah.
And, it feels very timely right now in the United States in particular, with all of the crackdown on illegal aliens in particular, with everything that even Filipino migrants are being affected with. at the moment, whether you be immigrants, legal immigrants, or those who are there just looking for greener pastures. Do you feel that your work holds a bit more significance right now, considering what Filipinos in the United States could be experiencing at the moment?
Well, one of the challenges of migration is, the political climate today, not just in the United States, but globally, it presents significant challenges for migrant workers. Migration is always shaped by the policies of host countries, and those policies can shift unpredictably.
Yeah.
But I believe Filipinos and migrants in general are adaptable. Policies may change, like there will be a new government, there will be a new regime, but the pursuit of a better future for us and our families is the one constant thing that Filipinos have. And I think we have to remember that no matter whatever is happening.
Xyza, the Philippines has an ambition to supply quality, skilled workers overseas, as evident in globalized education and its labor expert programs. While this is central to the economy, what aspects of labor migration are you most critical about?
Do you have the whole day? I'm just kidding. No, I mean, labor migration has been significant it's a significant part of the Philippine economy since the 70s.
Yep.
And while it provides financial stability for many families and contributes to national economic growth, I believe that migration should be an option, not a necessity for Filipinos. Our people are talented, skilled, hardworking, and if there were better economic opportunities and a stronger support system within the country, many of us would choose to stay and contribute to nation building.
Yeah.
Based on my personal experience as a child who was left behind by my own mother at the age of 8, I am very concerned about the children who are left behind by migrant parents. Many of these children grew up without a profound sense of completeness because the growing up factor has been disrupted, and it's kind of difficult to be an adult and form your identity when the fundamental need of love and presence were not met during childhood. If you want a future of fully functioning adults or adulting, I think we need to address that issue at its core. And the last one, promise. The excessive financial burden placed on OFWs.
Yeah.
One particular issue that I don't agree with is the mandatory PhilHealth contribution, premium contribution. Because, again, these should be optional, right? These are our bayanis, So since many of these OFWs cannot even use it anyway, and every dollar we take from them is us taking food away for their families. So we need to find ways to ease the burden and support them more effectively.
So that's a lot of points that we wish we could really dive into, but we're running out of time. One of the things that I really enjoy about seeing Filipinos overseas is that there's the term, malambot ang dila. It feels like we sound like the people around us. We sound like the people wherever around the world. We can talk to them. We're such great communicators. But in doing so, we kind of blend in a bit too much. And you're there helping them stand out instead. At the end of the day, what do you want us, those here at home in Manila, in the Philippines, to have a new idea of our migrant Filipinos, our OFW Filipino brothers and sisters, trying to make a better future moving forward?
It all starts with a very simple thing. You mentioned about how we can communicate, right? I think there's a lack of communication between the families and the OFWs themselves. We need to learn to tell our families our struggles. And for families back home, we need to ask our migrants what's really happening with them. A simple kumusta ka, and I hope you're okay, will mean a lot for a migrant mother or a migrant father or a sister. So we could start with that one.
Well, thank you so much, Xyza, for all your insights, and I'm glad that we got to delve deeper into your work, and we're excited to see where your work and where yourself are gonna go. Thank you so much, Filipina photographer Xyza Cruz Bacani.
Thank you. Bye.